Go ahead, Rob. What is it, Rob? Come on, Rob.
Coach, offense was so strong out of the game, and you expect that this time, especially after you just played two days ago, 48 hours ago, that short.
You know, again, I do think that, you know, we've got some firepower there, but the fact is, I thought when it happened like that, I didn't think we got to the free throw line enough because, you know, and again, some of that, the way they played defensively, they were back in there doing a lot of switching, but I didn't think that we moved it early enough and got downhill, try to create some opportunities at the free throw line. When we take good shots, and we've had scrimmages when we've shot the ball extremely well, we've had games when we've done it. In our scrimmages, some days we haven't shot it well, and I've talked to our guys about what we're going to do when it's not going in. We're not rebounding the ball offensively on those long, you know, threes that we got to go get it. But I didn't even look, Rob. I don't even know what were we from the three. I can't read this.
6 of 10 in the first half, 2 of 14 is right.
Yeah. Well, some of them, actually, some of those 24 would have been. I would say I can tell you right now, 5 of them that I have in my mind that we should have gone downhill with. We just settled, which. When the team's back in there, obviously they want you to shoot it quick. And we get our feet set, we move the defense like we want to give ourselves a chance to get some offensive rebounds. You know, we're going to shoot it. But, you know, our flow offense, it really, and being honest here, we haven't ran it the way we want to in both exhibition games, and we've got to get better there.
Rick, what do you think of what Cam Carr gave you tonight?
Well, he shot it a lot, you know, which again, if he's open, he's a good shooter. We want him to do it, but he did rebound the ball. He doesn't understand spacing yet. I mean, he tripped a guy being in the area of the court where he shouldn't be. He dribbled it off the back of his teammates when he should have been wider. It's the details, which you expect right now to understand those things, but you know, Cam's missed 10 days, you know, with the concussion protocol, and he's working his way back, but he showed us early in the preseason what he's capable of, and he's got to get back there. And with his length, we think he should be a terrific defender. I think those younger guys in general, what we talked about after the game at Michigan State and here tonight was hoping those guys understand how hard it is to play 2 minutes with all the details that you want, whether it's on defense, hands up, deflecting, getting to your gap position, whatever it is, and then turning around, running the court as hard as we want to run it, taking care of the ball. And they will tell you now, they're realizing it's a lot harder than they thought. And we left them out there tonight in a 4-minute run, and what we were looking for was to see if they could get 3 consecutive stops, and they didn't. When we went back to let that last group play a couple more minutes, because I didn't want that young group just to total collapse. And in the first group that started the game went back, they got 3 straight stops. And so that's will be a major point that we show them on tape, that they've got to understand the defensive end. And there is no question that all those young guys right now, perimeter guys, are thinking offense more than the defense right now.
You touched on it a little bit a minute ago, but just through the 2 exhibition games, how would you assess y'all's rebounding?
Not where we want it to be. We've talked about it, and we got to go get it. You know, we're gonna block out, but we've got to go get it, and we have to. I mean, you know, when we're playing with basically 4 guards, and Josiah, you know, he does so many little things out there and get it. But our guards have got to come down and help us defensively more, because we want whoever gets to go with it, and they got to get involved in that. And that's something that honestly we harp on big. Through the Michigan State game and here, because that's where the game's really won. It's like being in the trenches down there in football. It's the same thing in basketball. Rebounding, it's just a want to and attitude to go get it. And as much as, and Tobey is going to do that for us a lot, but we got to get him to understand the offensive end more, and when he gets tired, how he can play through that. But you know, Cade made an effort to get there tonight. I think JP did for the most part. We got to get more from our perimeter guys.
Grant and Weston, Mike. Coach Sullivan just sitting here was talking about Dalton, and he said he's a pro. Kind of, what's your reaction to that?
Who's that?
Dalton. What's your reaction based on what you've seen the last few months and now the last few days?
Well, I'm a fan of Dalton's, but you know what, if he's gonna be a pro, he's gonna have to be as effective on the defensive end, in a cerebral type way. You know, I think offensively, I don't think he understands how effective he is. In his mind, he's a guy, if he misses his first three, he wants to stand out there and get one going, where I think the best part of his game is when he gets going downhill. And I think he's got to understand that, and because of the fact he can shoot it deep, he's gonna have plenty of space, because people would be up into him, that he can get down, and he's strong, he can score, he can handle the ball, but he can't be a guy that's gonna settle. He's got to cut harder. On his cuts, he should want the ball. I mean, we've isolated him 2 games and let him have it and back down and play within his back to the basket within 7 to 10 feet, and he can score it. But he can do that on cutting. But he's got to cut with a purpose. He's got to get better there. But his biggest thing again is continuing to learn how to play defense. Effort-wise, I think, and there's no doubt he's tried harder than he's ever tried in his life. But now he's got to understand, if he does his work early, understand who he's guarding, and his length. He doesn't use his length, and I mean, when people see him, they tell him they didn't know he's that tall, that long, but he's got to use that on the defensive end.
Wes?
Rick, I know every year is kind of its own year, every season's its own thing, but when you look at this offense compared to what it was this time last year, do you feel like it's about the same? Do you feel like it's better? What do you like about potential and what it is now?
Well, obviously, I mean, you know, we've added some guys that can shoot the ball, guys that can get a shot off. I mean, you saw that Sunday against really good competition at Dalton and Jordan, and I thought when Jemai Meshack does what he's supposed to do, he's effective. I'd say the same thing. When our guys do what they're good at and show what they're good at and stay away from things that maybe aren't their strengths, it's a big difference. You know, I tell them, don't go looking for trouble, because you'll find it. But when they understand exactly what they're good at, they play to it, every guy on this team can score the basketball. It's when guys try to overdo it, you know, they just get outside themselves, and we don't need them to do that. Next week we've got, you know, Santi will be back on campus tomorrow. Got to get him ready. He'll get himself ready, and then Zakai will see how that goes between now and then. But what's exciting to me about this group is the fact that the pressure, if we can maintain it, both offensively and defensively, like the way we started out against Michigan State. I mean, it was a fast-paced, early-paced game. Both teams wanting to get out and run, and then both of us ended up playing the guys that started probably more than we thought going in, and the pace did slow down. I like to think that with our depth that we can really keep the pace going on both ends. We haven't been able to jump up there yet in full court pressure like we'd like to do after a made basket, and because really the young guys aren't ready for it. You know, they're not. To get them to do it, and hopefully they'll continue to get there. But, you know, offensively, that's the one thing we addressed in the portal. And somebody asked me yesterday at the tip-off luncheon, did I like the portal? And I said, I like the 48 points. So I'd say, yeah, in some ways we're ahead. And I do think we can shoot the ball. I really do. But I also know that instead of good shots, I like to get great shots. And but we've got some guys that can get to the rim too. And I don't want them just to get 3-point happy. I want to know, again, we need to get to the foul line more than 10 times.
Yeah, Rick, you talked about Cam a bit, but what were your impressions of what you got from JP, Cade, and Freddie through these first 2 exhibitions?
Again, what we're looking like for those guys, I'm telling you, is execution. Like, I really got upset at the end of the first half with them, and I let it be known at halftime, because we called 2 of the simplest sets you could call. I mean, it can't get any more simpler, and we didn't do it. And that's all we talked about. We went through our bad execution plays after the Michigan State game and said, hey, we're looking for this. And this is what we want to do, and come out and now the communication getting plays calls at Michigan State was a lot more difficult than tonight. There was no reason that anyone didn't hear it. And when guys tell me they didn't hear it, because we talk all the time about, hey, on any dead ball, something's on. We got something, we've called something, and it better be echoed, it better be relayed. But in a situation like tonight, I don't know how you couldn't hear it. And but that's where the young guys have to understand. I like coming out of a timeout tonight. I said, I'm gonna draw up something here that we haven't done. I'm just gonna see for one time if you guys can have the discipline and do you listen well enough to come out of here and do this? And they actually did it. And it just goes to show you if they will concentrate on what we're doing and not think about whether they've made a shot or whether they've done this, they've done that. You know, like I thought DJ went the game and did some good things. He gets tired. What does he do? He tries to make a typical high school play, try to steal the ball, want to go down. I hope he gets it, dunks, and then he comes back and gives up 2 rebounds he should have had. And I can say that not just about him, but those young guys understanding that's what you can't do. You got to be solid in every possession. And even though, again, in terms of exhibition game, we treat it like, what do we do to get better? It's about us. And in this part of the year too, it's team building. Some of these guys now are realizing that there's only 200 minutes in a game, and if they're going to get on the floor, they're going to have to bring something to get there, because once we get everybody back, those minutes will be hard to come by. But I will say this, even the older guys, they're going to play to a level that we needed to play to or they won't play.
Last
We
question.
do have some depth.
Sorry, Coach. Last question from Carter.
Hey Coach, as the guy sitting beside you on the bench, I noticed a couple times he gets off the bench and he goes coaches up some players during some timeouts. How seriously has he been taking his role while he's not been able to play in games to make sure that?
Well, actually, when we got ready to start, he came up to me and I said, "Here, sit down, sit with me tonight." I said, let's talk. You know, we'll talk through the game, and I said, I'll let you see what's going on. You know, what I'm thinking, what you're thinking, and things would happen like, I said, what didn't, like, start the game? One thing we wanted to do is really advance the ball. We didn't, and we had chances to do it. And I said to him, right now, do you think Jemiah knows he can advance the ball? He said, I don't know. I said, I'm saying he thinks those guys aren't open. Are they open? He says, they're open. So we called timeout, and I said to Jemiah, I said, why didn't you advance the ball? And he said, those guys weren't open. I said, Z, were they open? He said, they're open. Then as time was going on, I would take a guy out of the game. I said, go tell him why you just got taken out of the game. He cares a lot. I mean, he desperately wants to play. It's killing him because he's a guy, honestly, if we would let him play, he would tell you he's 100%, even if he were 75%, and he would play his heart out. And it's killing him not to play. But we said it before, we're going to be err on the caution side with him. But he knows what he needs to do. But I enjoyed him up there tonight because I think he sees it from a different perspective and sees what we're looking for. And I think he would tell you we're looking for the details.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.